Hey, that's a soda pop from Soda Hughes, and you are watching the Malak channel. Today we have a pretty cool book to show you. It's Gustav Klimt. Probably saying that wrong because I think he's from Austria, or he was from Austria, by Taschen. This is the Tobias G. Nader edition. Let's get all that plastic off. A good old man of gold. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be because it had so many pages. I thought the actual format of the book was going to be larger. As you can see, it's not really huge, but it's got a nice little hardcover. It's got a placekeeping ribbon, and I like the design so far of the cover, just because of, you know, the kind of textile patterns and the gold that Klimt would use. Looks like we got a bit of an intro. Oh, we got some photographs to add context. That's cool. Yeah, I remember, sorry, seeing that he did like a lot of postcards and stuff like that. Huh. Yeah, he was a part of the Viennese Secession. And even though I've gotten a degree in art history, it takes every fiber of my being to not say Vienna sausages every time. Yeah, he did a lot of allegory and kind of symbolic painting. This is a cool one. The message at the top, I think, said something like, if you can't please everybody, just try to please a few people, because pleasing too many people is bad. We got some flip out pages. That's pretty cool. That was one of the things I was worried about. It looks like some of the examples, I mean, that always makes it a little bit risky with the book. Makes it a little more fragile when you got some of those flip out pages. But I was worried because the book was itself kind of small in format, that some of the, that maybe there's going to be too much text and that a lot of the images would be printed, you know, really small in a page. And they had a few of those, but it looks like for the most part, they're printing them at pretty good sizes, and they're being split in, you know, places that aren't so bad to split the painting. I think that's him. He was kind of introvert in some ways, kind of isolated, I guess. Didn't meet with too many people, and he would just wear a robe and nothing else a lot of the time. That's lovely. It's got the full piece and the flip outs. Yeah, some of those rooms with artist work are just amazing. Was it Whistler who did the Peacock Room? I can't remember. But that was another room I thought was just gorgeous. Some of those patterns. Paintings of women. He had a relationship, I guess, with a fashion designer. There were a lot of people who were... Oh, I think that's her. And there were a lot of people who were frustrated with him, and sometimes he got in trouble. I think there was a couple of murals he did where people were saying, in their opinion at the time, it was very pornographic. And it's kind of funny because, you know, some of them still, there's probably some people who wouldn't like them, but a lot of it just seems kind of tame and archaic now. But, you know, even me, I get some messages, and sometimes people complain or kind of bother me about, you know, some of the subject matter, the style of my art, because, you know, sometimes it's not photorealistic, it's a little stylized, and sometimes, you know, I include nudity and stuff. But, you know, that part of his story kind of resonated with me. It is kind of funny, though, despite him being such a kind of a shut-in introvert, I guess he was pretty sexually active. I guess you could say Gustav Klimt fucked. I was reading the Wikipedia, and, you know, in class, sometimes our professor would share some things about their personal lives or add context, or sometimes he would have a funny story to share. But, you know, most of it was focusing on how the artwork and the artist fit into the kind of the narrative of the progression of art. So I didn't really hear, when I was reading the Wikipedia, it was saying that he fathered at least 14 children, and he had a ton of affairs. But apparently he was pretty good at avoiding any sort of scandal in terms of that aspect of his life, which is, you know, good for him, so long as everybody's happy. I know a lot of the Superani artists really love, I'm pretty sure they love Klimt, and I've seen them talking about Mucha. A lot of them, you know, they've inspired me a ton, the Superani artists I talk about all the time. And a lot of the time when people see me, especially when I'm doing live figure drawing, because some of that has kind of influenced even the way I do live drawing, people will often say, oh, your work really makes me think of Egon Schiele. And I kind of see that with a lot of the Superani artists. But, you know, every now and then I see them visiting a museum, and they kind of share some of the Mucha and Klimt stuff that they've been looking at, which is cool to see. And I can see that kind of stuff appealing to them also. I think I remember reading somewhere that Klimt also kind of had some Japanese influences, which is interesting, kind of that cycle of influence that I feel like creates a lot of, you know, innovation and beauty. I did hear that he did some landscapes. Almost, in some ways, kind of makes me think of pointillism. I know that's not exactly what he's doing, but some of these strokes are just big enough to notice, but small enough to kind of mesh together. Pretty sure Han Solo, I mean, he's got a very memorable tag on Instagram. He's one of the Superani artists, but I kind of just wish he went by his Korean name, because I can never remember his Korean name because Han Solo is too memorable. But whenever I search it or tell someone about it, it just goes to the Star Wars character. But, you know, I think he did some master studies and some illustrations that were heavily inspired by Klimt after he came back from a museum trip, which was awesome to see. You should go check those out at some point. He's using a grid there, looks like. Wow. Just look at those drawings. It's insane. I remember reading somewhere that there were extensive sittings. I'm pretty sure I've seen photo references that Mucha used, but I don't know if I've ever seen photo references that Klimt used. I wonder if he did use a lot of photos or if it was mostly sit-ins. I love seeing sketches and studies. Look at that. That's amazing to see. That was the Nuda Veritas, I think. Yeah. It's so interesting to see, you know, the sketches and stuff. And sometimes I even like the sketch more than the painting. And I know that, in my opinion, ink and sketching is just an underrated medium and art form. I love it. And I know I've heard from other people, you know, there's kind of a stigma about that kind of stuff, and a lot of people say they feel it's unfinished or, you know, not as fine as a painting. But to me, sometimes I feel like sometimes something is lost in a painting or a blended, you know, representation. That's by Klimt. Wow, that's really gorgeous. That makes me think of I think Aubrey Beardsley kind of. Hopefully you guys can see the images well enough. Like I said, you know, this book is kind of smaller considering some of the grandeur and complexity of Klimt's works. That's just my main gripe with the book. But, you know, maybe it would have costed an insane amount to produce it much larger. But so far, I gotta say, you know, the design, typography, image placement, for what they're working with, I think it's really, really well done. Like, it's a nice book. Quality seems nice. Trying to hold it open, so sorry if my fingers get a little in the way sometimes. I'm pretty sure he met Egon Schiele and had a bit of a relationship with him, kind of as a mentor almost. Because I think Schiele was younger. Yeah, I think that's from Schiele of Gustav Klimt. That's cool. There's the Secession. There's they're giving the bibliography. What do we got here? Kind of an ad in the back of the book. Yeah, that's Gustav Klimt by Taschen. I'd say it's fantastic, especially considering what you can find this for. I'm going to try and put some links up. You might notice I've been able to put affiliate links in now. If you ever want to support me while you get an art book, you can use those. But I'm also going to tell you of other options to get the book too. If you don't want to support me, maybe you just want to get the cheapest option. Personally, I found this on Thrift Books, brand new, just dirt cheap. I think it was something like $16 I got this book for, which is crazy. But as always, if I can find some Amazon links, I'm going to throw those in my video description. So, you know, if you want the book, and, you know, usually those aren't too much more, unless sometimes they are the lowest cost option. You can go through the affiliate link, and it'll help me out. And I can keep doing this more and more. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked the art and the book. You guys take care.
You're such a